As young, we all just grew up in the same community. We all lived on the same estate. Everyone's families knew each other on the block.
There was such a big sense of community in the estate. Everyone played with everyone, no matter their age, gender, race. It was just a big family, really. Growing up, I didn't really realise I was in a deprived area. Like, I would never really think I was at a disadvantage.
Do you know what it is? When I was younger, I used to see the nice houses right next to our houses. But I didn't really understand it, innit? Because I always used to think, how come I can't live in this house, but I'm living here? But as I grew up, I kind of understood it more.
So when I used to see people having a lot of things that I didn't have, I won't lie to you, I was jealous. I used to see people, you know, with better watches than me, better trainers than me, better clothes than me, and I thought, well, why don't I have this, you know?
In the last decade, I've seen a lot of different changes. A lot of the community hubs being ripped down and a lot of community togetherness lost with that.
If you look at Southwark, I think Southwark's like the 9th poorest borough out of the 32. And then you've got people across the road that can afford to have what you can't have. That's hard to comprehend, that one side you've got people that can have whatever they want, and then the other side you've got people or children. The poverty of children is like 43%. That's nuts.
Like, from young, you see stuff you shouldn't be seeing, like stabbings, crime, all that stuff as well.
Like I was saying the other day, I'm 21. I remember doing the calculation when I was 18, I lost 14 friends to like knife and gun crime.
Another teenager has been killed in London.
Another death on this street.
When I was young, I lost my best friend, innit, Mohammed, to the road stuff and that. He got stabbed. That was like one of the first deaths, like, the man and them experience as friends, innit?
There was a boy called David. He came here and he got stabbed in front of my eyes. That was the first time I experienced, really, I was young, I was probably like 13 at the time, and I can remember seeing him getting chased, and I just didn't know what to do at the time. And then a couple of weeks later, he passed away.
A lot of our normal robbery suspects are 12, 13 years old. They're carrying knives and they've got no regard with what they're doing.
The police make regular weapons sweeps. Another part of South London, on a troubled estate, officers found 2 knives within half an hour.
You've spoken about having children arrive in your classrooms bleeding from knife attacks.
The media are portraying this as a sudden spike or an explosion in knife crime, where it's not. It's the accumulation of a long term of cutting youth services, and after about 10 years, this is always going to happen.
There used to be youth clubs back in the day. Then after, when we got to like 015, they just kind of shut down all the youth clubs, bro. Like, we used to have one right there, right across that road. That was a youth club there. See where the curtains are? And then there was one literally right at the bottom of us. And then there was one over there. And then some XOP bus used to come as well. So like, when we was young, we was always busy, innit? Like, after school, we had activities to do. But now I think the generation now, like the kids, they ain't got stuff to do, bro. Like, they're always on the roads, innit? Like, because there's no youth clubs out here no more, man.
It's changed a lot. We've gone from having community clubs and trips down to the seaside back in the day, down to the community clubs slowly just disintegrating, and just you don't see them about anymore, and you don't see like engagement with people. Where a kid, just them coming in the gym 3 times a week, it changes their mindset. So they could be a kid who's maybe lost people in their family, and then they turn to the road and they turn to going to county lands, but being in the gyms give them a different mindset, and they feel that they can be a different person if they just knuckle down and work hard, and they realise that there is people out there, great people like Active Communities Network and boxing clubs and anyone that works together like as a big organisation.
So we've been on the Brandon now, say, just under a year. I think it's been one of the most challenging things that we've had to do. I think when you come onto an estate like the Brandon, you've got to build trust with the community. They've got to know that you're really there for them and that you really want to help. And that's been super challenging in my role, but we finally got there, and we've started to kind of work with the community and develop things that they need. Being forward, yeah, like, and I'm not trying to disrespect anyone or whatever, like, that's not my intention, but I can only go by what I see. When you're talking about mental health services, for example, for children like CAMS, from what I know, there's an 18-month waiting list. So if you have children with needs or particular needs or issues or whatever, if you have to wait 18 months before you can be seen, that can breed a problem in itself.
My mum removed me from the school because the school itself did not support me in the sense of my mental health in secondary school. And I used to be like, yeah, I got kicked out. No, my mum removed me. But I was so embarrassed to tell people I had anxiety and depression. And I went doctors to get this done. Like, it weren't Passover comment. Like, I've been diagnosed. Back then, I don't think it was common. Nowadays, I don't know if it's because of the industry I work in, I see it a bit more. But so many people go through so much things. And if there was diagnosis that comes with help, not just the diagnosis itself, it would be a lot more easier for young people to get through.
From my time to now, I feel like youth violence, the knife crime, gang violence is getting worse. Because obviously we're in the day and age of social media where people can record things. And obviously it allows people to act. It allows people to act a certain way, act more badder than they actually are. The knife crime now, people are just fighting and dying over petty reasons, you know, and there's no winners.
If the solution is not met, bro, it's just gonna get worse and worse, bro. Like,
I just think that we're gonna spiral out of control. I think things are worse than they ever have been. If we don't start acting now and helping the young people, because they are the future, we need to invest in the youth. We need to give the youth the support where we failed them before.
Community is forever going. Something that happened, 20 years ago, I was one, but it still can affect the community to this day. There's still discussions, there's still things that kind of trickled on, that's been a domino effect in the community today. What are we gonna do?
We can't tackle this problem in isolation. We have to come together. We have to be sitting at the table of where decisions are made. And I think the next steps is very much about placing a real recognition on the importance of grassroots delivery. Grassroots delivery and organisations are closest to the community and closest to the young people that we engage with, and their voice matters. So I think that is what's going to make change. It's not one system that needs to change. It's a systematic change across the board that needs to happen. The voices of young people, of parents, of carers, of other grassroots youth providers, of local volunteers and the role models that we have that are engaging with these young people, it's so incredibly important that those are heard. And not just heard, but the learning and the opinions are actioned upon.